So when I think about Jared McGovern, a lot of things come into my mind. Passionate, exciting, dynamic, loves the River Museum and Aquarium, loves the conservation programs he does, his interactions with our guests. He's the best at getting down on hands and knees with young children, talking to honeymooners, talking to adults, and everything he does shows how much he cares about his job and his impact on conservation.
You know, when he was in college, he would make a point to stop by and see Grandma and Grandpa whenever he was home. So just his dedication to his job and his education and his family, you'll never meet anybody like Jared.
The reason I'm most passionate about people is because we are the solution to many conservation issues: water quality, biodiversity collapse, climate change. You know, I got into this field because I loved wildlife. I like spending time in the outdoors. I felt solitude and peace, and I had just a fascination in animals, reading zoo books, visiting zoos, going fishing, doing those kinds of things. But you know, over the years, I've evolved into a little bit more excited about the human component of conservation, because we caused these problems. It is our fault, but on the flip side, we're also the solution. We can solve these issues, and I wholeheartedly believe that. I will always have hope that something can be done.
He's always wanting to share his knowledge of the environment and the conservation with everybody and anybody he meets, from young children to elderly to state and local officials. Anybody who will listen, he's willing to share his story. He just wants to make the world a better place for his children and next generation and for the future to come.
I think the impact Jared is having with some of these national organizations he's a part of, Association of Zoos and Aquariums, U.S. Fish and Wildlife, U.S. Geological Survey, I see him just having a bigger impact, and then having a much bigger impact on our programs, building out this conservation program to be a bigger program, having more impact around the city, around the community, around the greater area.
So if I were to give anybody advice following in my footsteps, be gritty, be resilient, be hopeful, but understand that there is a difference between hopefulness and naive optimism. You need to understand that failure is not always a bad thing. It takes a resilient person to not let that bog you down, but to instead search out the good, search out the positive, search out the success stories. And most of those stories are because people made them so. Because there are some problems we cannot fix, but there are some that we can.